Izin melaporkan Jenderal Agustus, bulan kemerdekaan yang dulu telah kau perjuangkan, namun kini kami seakan dijajah kembali, bahkan mirisnya oleh bangsa kami sendiri. Hidup kami seakan sengsara, hingga ketenangan tiada. Hak kami dijajah, masa depan kami dijarah, dan kemerdekaan kami dirampas. Namun kini, apa arti kata merdeka jika masih banyak yang menderita, masih banyak yang terluka, dan masih banyak yang terlunta-lunta, dan masih ada tuan dan rakyat jelata.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FADZLUN SHAKIRAH, and today I am going to be explaining about the background of the Republic of Indonesia. The world's biggest archipelago is located in Indonesia. There are around 30 smaller grouping and 5 larger islands. The islands are situated on the border of 2 continents. It is Asia and Australia, Oceania, and 2 oceans, the Pacific and Indian Oceans. The country, which just obtained independence from Netherlands in 1949, has always been molded by its important location in maritime Southeast Asia in terms of its culture, society, politics, and economy. Between the 13th and 16th centuries, the archipelago progressively embraced Islam after being influenced for centuries by Indian culture, which introduced Hinduism and Buddhism early in the 17th century. The Dutch started colonizing Indonesia from 1942 to 1945. Imperial Japan controlled the islands. Shortly before Japan submitted the Allied groups, Indonesia declared its independence. The Netherlands consented to transfer of sovereignty in 1949 after 4 years of at-times savage conflict, sporadic discussions, and UN involvement.
Indonesia is a republican republic with centralized power. After Dutch colonial control and Japanese occupation during World War II, Indonesia became independent in 1945. The founding father creates a central government or federal state to unify Indonesian both ethnic, religious, and cultural mix. After independence, Indonesia kept its federal government model until 1949. It adopted the United Republic of Indonesia model until August 1950, then returned to the 1945 Constituent Central Unitary State form. After Indonesian new rules, political and governmental institutions were reformed. In 1998 and 2000, Indonesia passed 4 constitutional revisions. The province pressured Indonesian government to lessen centralization, therefore legislative and judicial power were reformed. Provinces were given autonomy to decentralized power, and the system was transformed into a republican, decentralized constitutional democracy. In 2019, the Economics Intelligence Unit determined that Indonesia is a flawed democracy. It has been that Indonesian political party operates more like cartel than actual parties, with substantial power sharing across party and limited accountability to voters.
Next is the economy in Indonesia. An economic system is a way for a country to organize its economic activities in order to achieve prosperity. As we know, Indonesia is the country with the largest economy in Southeast Asia and one of the rapidly developing market economies. Indonesia's economic system is based on Pancasila and the 1945 Constitution, which is known as a democratic economic system. This country is also a member of the group of 20 finance ministers and the central bank governors, which is the G20 major economies and is categorized as a new industrial country. In terms of nominal gross domestic product, Indonesia's economy is the 17th largest in the world and ranks 7th in the world in terms of purchasing power parity. This country also depends on its own domestic market, government spending, and ownership of state-owned enterprises. Specifically, the central government controls 145 enterprises. Finally, by 2045, Indonesia is predicted to be the fourth largest economy in the world.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is DINI binti OMAR, and today I will talk about Indonesian culture. As you all know, Indonesia has a vibrant culture. Indonesian art and culture has been shaped around its hundred of ethnic groups, and it is a combination of cultural aspects from Arabic, Chinese, Malay, and European sources. Many practices are influenced by a multitude of religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Islam. In terms of language, the official language of Indonesia is Indonesian or Bahasa Indonesia, and it is universally taught in schools. The Indonesian also speak several hundreds of local languages like Bahasa Daerah as their first language. Not only that, Indonesia is home to hundreds of forms of music and plays an important role in Indonesia's art and culture. As an example, gamelan, which is the traditional music from Central and East Java and Bali. Another very popular style of music is dangdut, which is accompanied by a free dance styles. Moreover, Indonesian cuisine has been influenced by a wide variety of cuisines from Chinese, European, Middle Eastern, and Indian influences. We can see that they have used spices, notably chili and coconut milk, that are fundamental ingredients in most of the dishes.
Hi, I'm Mohamad ZULHADZREY. So my turn is about one of the domestic issue happening in Indonesia, which is Papuan conflict. The Papuan conflict is a conflict in the Papua region, Indonesia. Beginning in 1961, the Dutch wanted to form a West Papuan state apart from Indonesia. This Dutch move was opposed by President Sukarno by getting closer to communist country, especially the Soviet Union. Sukarno's attitude frightened the Netherlands and the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, because if this is allowed, Indonesia is very likely to become the largest communist country in Southeast Asia. This fear then made the Netherlands take a stand to submit the Papua issue to the United Nations. From and through the United Nations, the Netherlands took a stand to get out of Papua and not to take seize and colonize Papua, and then Papua was handed back to Indonesia on the condition that it gave the Papuan people the opportunity to determine their own position or referendum, principle of people's opinion or perpera. Through perpera in 1969, the Papuan people chose to remain within the Republic of Indonesia. But starting in 20s, the issue of Papua increased. The issue of terrorism and separatists became a big issue in Indonesia until there was a bloodshed between the Indonesian National Army (TNI) and the people of Papua, causing the stigma of hatred of the people of Papua among the people of Indonesia. That is why Jokowi intends to do the various ways to solve this problem. One of them by developing trust, a welfare approach, good management of natural resources, tackling injustice and infrastructure development.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is JAMAL. Today I will talk about the Omnibus Law. The Indonesian House of Representatives has ratified the Job Creation Bill, which is widely known as the Omnibus Law, on 5 October 2000 after approximately 8 months of deliberation. There are 76 laws being amended under the Omnibus Law, which are aimed to boost jobs in Indonesia. Among others, the Omnibus Law introduces, firstly, provisions to simplify business licensing procedures, and secondly, changes to the existing manpower law. The Omnibus Law is still under its promulgation process and is still to be ratified by the President. Nevertheless, with or without the President's signature, the Job Creation Bill will automatically become law on 5 November 2000. What is the purpose of Omnibus Law in Indonesia? Its main goal is to stimulate domestic and foreign investment to transform Indonesia's economic sphere. With that, the Omnibus Law has brought many more opportunities for multinationals operating in or considering investing in Southeast Asia's largest economy. Thank you.
In conclusion, Indonesia is the world's 4th most populous nation and 10th largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity. Indonesia has made enormous gains in poverty reduction. cutting the poverty rate by more than half since 1999. The World Bank supports Indonesia's climate mitigation and adaptation measures to deliver impactful climate action. Furthermore, the Republic of Indonesia was born in 1945 after a long period of Dutch colonial rule and Japanese occupation during the Second World War. The founding fathers established the form of central government or a federal state to unify the Indonesian people from a diverse ethnic, religious and cultural mix. Indonesia continued to adopt the federal government model for 5 years after independence until December 1949. Other than that, Indonesia is the most populous Muslim country in the world and Shafi'i faith is dominant. The official language is Indonesia and the currency is rupiah. Gamelan is the traditional ensemble music of the Javanese, Sundanese and Balinese people. One of the main traditional ceremonies in Indonesia is the local manifestation of remembrance of Muharram among the Minangkabau people. The Free Papua movement has been leading on an insurgency movement since 1960s. There have been reports of extrajudicial killings, torture, arbitrary detention, looting and burning of villages, and mistreatment of peaceful protesters. 42,000 indigenous Papuas were displaced by the conflict between December 2018 March 2020. And that's it all from us. Thank you for listening to our presentation.